How's it? My name's Dan, and I'm making this video to talk about what's been happening in New Zealand since the mass shooting in Christchurch on March 15th. I'd first of all like to express my condolences to the victims and their families. It was a heinous atrocity that happened that day, and I do hope that the survivors and their families can one day find peace. I hope that the full weight of the justice system is thrown at the perpetrator, and I hope that he never sees the light of day again. Secondly, I'd like to condemn the alt-right, white supremacy, and racism in all of its forms. You guys are a stain on civilization and I detest you. You need to get with the future and stop living in the Stone Age, you fucking Neanderthals. So now that brings me to section 14 of the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act. It clearly states here under freedom of expression, everyone has the right to freedom of expression, including the freedom to seek, receive, and impart information and opinions of any kind in any form. Now to talk about what's been happening since the shooting. The government has been acting like an Orwellian dictatorship. Gun control laws are being fast-tracked. Hate speech laws are imminent. People are being arrested for saying Muslim slurs or possessing copies of the video and being held on remand until court dates. I thought we lived in a country where we had rights and those rights were upheld by our government and our police force. Here's an article from Stuff dated April 4th. It's about a teen who's been charged over making copies of the mosque shooting video. A 16-year-old boy has been charged with making copies of the Christchurch terror attack video has been declined bail. The teen, who cannot be named for legal reasons, appeared in the Christchurch Youth Court on Thursday before Judge Stephen O'Driscoll. He is charged with knowingly making copies of objectionable material. He first appeared in court last Thursday. His lawyer, Moana Cole, made an application for bail, which was declined, meaning the boy must remain in custody. The submissions regarding the bail application and reasons why it has been declined are suppressed. The family of the boy were in court for the bail hearing and waved at him as he left the court. He will next appear in court on May 7th. Now, personally, I've not seen the video, and I definitely wouldn't go around making copies of it. However, I do not think it should be illegal to do so, and I can't see the benefit that this has on society to arrest a 16-year-old boy and remand him on custody until his next court date. I highly doubt that the 16-year-old is a threat to society. Now, if arresting a guy and holding him on remand for 6 weeks for making copies of a video isn't infringing on his freedom of expression and right to seek, receive, and impart information and opinions of any kind in any form, then I don't know what is. The next person to parley with the hate speech brigade is a student from Dunedin. He admits making expletive-laden anti-Muslim slurs just one day after the terrorist attack in Christchurch. The teenager, who comes from Christchurch and has interim name suppression, appeared in the Dunedin District Court yesterday, almost at the same time the Christchurch mosque shooter case was first called before the High Court at Christchurch. The student admitted a charge of disorderly behaviour likely to cause violence, which holds a maximum penalty of 3 months imprisonment or a fine of $2,000. Police saw the man on the street in the student sector yelling words to the effect of, "Muslims are not welcome in our country. Go home, Muslims." Other revelers told police there had been repeated earlier slurs too. Let me be the first person to say, I disagree with what he's saying, but I agree with his right to say it. The day we give the government the ability to quash people's speech is the day we start slipping into a dictatorship. Now, this here's the final piece I'll show you before I start pointing out a little bit of hypocrisy in how these laws are being enforced. Here we have a Wairarapa woman who was arrested on suspicion of inciting racial disharmony after a hateful message was posted to her Facebook page in response to the Christchurch shootings. How dare she post a comment on her Facebook page that people disagree with? How dare she? She has to be arrested. This cannot be happening in a free society. People posting on their Facebook pages things that people disagree with. The offence falls under the Human Rights Act, apparently, and carries a maximum penalty of 3 months imprisonment or a $7,000 fine. Holy shit! If I ever got fined $7,000 for making a Facebook post, I would shit the bed. Police say a decision is still to be made about whether the woman will be charged and put before the court or face an alternative resolution. Now, I'm unsure of the follow-up on this. I just think it's amazing that she was arrested on suspicion of inciting racial disharmony in the first place. I think that's an absolute joke. I'd love to know the Facebook post. I'm just going to quickly scan and see if it says it. I don't think it does. It's probably nothing. The Times Age believes the woman is a parent to a child at a Masterton primary school, and parents complained to the principal and the police. Oh my god. So it's a bunch of whinging mums that probably don't like the chick, saw a Facebook comment and just flipped the shit. This one was more shocking than I thought. I've not actually read this one before. I've just done this clip right here, and I'm just going to upload this clip right into the video because it's bewildering. On Monday, an 18-year-old accused of sharing a live stream of Christchurch mosque mass shooting was refused bail. Yeah, I think I told you guys about that one. It's just an absolute joke. Now, I'm just going to point out some hypocrisy here. Wait for this. Here's an article about a leader of a mosque who has been spouting a whole bunch of accusations at a local anti-racism rally led by our local racist group, Love Aotearoa Hate Racism. This group is known and they are vocal about hating white people in all their forms. They believe that white people are racist by default by the fact that they are white, and they believe that they are coming from a position of power, of privileged power, and it's systemic, and therefore, even if they do not know they're being racist, they are still being racist and they need to check their privilege. However, here we have a prominent Muslim man who is accepted within their groups, allowed to speak out amongst them and given a position of power to blame Mossad, Israeli Special Defense Forces, and Zionist businesses for funding the Christchurch mosque shooter. Now, I personally would say this is much more likely to cause violence than what the other guys were doing. I agree with his right to say it. I disagree with what he's saying. I don't think he should be arrested, but I'm just pointing out the hypocrisies that goes on. I think it's an absolute joke. Now, just to bring it all to an end, what I'm pretty much getting at is hate speech is opinionated. These people that have been arrested wouldn't have been arrested if they were doing these things 6 months after the Christchurch attack. The only reason they're being arrested is so that the police can be seen doing something. It's a joke and it can potentially ruin people's lives just so you get a bit of a goodwill feeling for a little while. It's not fair and it's not right for society. When hate speech is arrestable because of offence, and offence is objectionable, it's not a fair law to enforce. It cannot be enforced fairly. It's a joke and it needs to be stricken from the laws before it's put in place properly in the first place. This review doesn't need to happen. We have laws in place to protect people from harassment, from abuse, from defamation. We have these laws in place and those laws need to be enforced. We don't need to be adding new ones to the books. Any restriction on free speech is a restriction on freedom as a whole. Our ancestors bore blood for us to speak our freedoms and for us to live in a free society. Not to have those rights quashed by the whims of the emotional directly after a tragic event. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I may make more, I don't know, it depends on the response from this video I guess. I'm probably just going to get banned from Facebook and arrested, but hey, we'll see. Thanks, and goodbye.